No chance. No escape. Hey folks, this is Brandon from Hardtown, US of A. Now the reason I'm making this video is because I want to talk about one of my favorite horror films from the 1980s. It's kind of a classic, but to be honest, most people have never heard of this film. I'm talking about 1980, Without Warning. Also known as It Came Without Warning as well. Now this movie would air all the time on HBO and Cinemax back in the early 80s, and I would watch it quite a bit. It stars Jack Palance and Martin Landau. Now Jack Palance, his name is Taylor in the film. He's like the big hunter in town, and plus he owns a service station. Now Martin Landau, his name is Dodge, but everyone calls him Sarge because he used to be in the military. He's kind of like the town crazy. People pay no attention to this guy because he's always talking about aliens and conspiracies and things like that. So the movie's based about this alien hunter. Now the alien, rumbles through the woods, stalking and killing humans. The story focuses on Greg and Sandy. Now they're this couple that's with another couple. I cannot remember the other couple's name, but one of them was David Caruso. Now they're all like on a day trip to the lake, so they stop off at Taylor's service station to buy gas. Taylor's talking to him. He's like, I've never seen you kids before. Where you guys from? Where you going? They tell him they're going to the lake. He's like, you don't want to go to the lake. It's hunting season. Stay away from the lake. Now they kind of promise him they will, but then they go in away. So they're all out to the lake. David Caruso and his old lady want to be alone. So Greg and Sandy go off, like a little hike. They come back a little while later. David Caruso and his old lady are nowhere to be found. So they start, searching for him. They come upon this little shack. They go in it. Well, lo and behold, David Caruso and his old lady, they're dead. So now they're panicking. They make it back to the van. They haul ass. They find this little bar. So Greg and Sandy stop off at this bar. Now, for a reason I don't understand, Greg tells Sandy to stay in the van. He's like, look, you be safe here. I'm going in the bar to tell everybody what's going on. See if they get the cops out here. So Greg goes in. He starts telling everybody the story about his friends being dead. They're like, calm down, son. You're going to have to give us more detail before we get the sheriff out here. So he tells them about these flying creatures. By the way the alien kills his prey, he uses these flying creatures. He throws them like frisbees. And they latch on to you and start sucking your blood out. Well, the Sarge is at the bar, so they're like, come here, Sarge. Listen to this guy's story. He's seen some of your flying creatures. So Greg starts telling the Sarge, he's like, oh, so you've seen them little fellas. They're feisty. Now, while Greg's in the bar trying to convince everybody what he's telling them is true, Sandy's still waiting outside in the van. Well, she sees the aliens show up. Instead of going into the bar, she decides to haul ass out into the woods. Now, they really don't believe Greg because they think the Sarge is, put him up to this. It's like, look, if you don't believe me, I got a girl outside. She can back me up. The Sarge's like, you got a girl outside? Well, bring her in. Then they'll believe us. Greg goes out to get Sandy. Of course, she's gone. Nowhere to be found. They're like, well, don't worry, son. I'm sure she'll show up. We'll get the sheriff out here anyway. Not long later, Taylor shows up with Sandy. They found her running around out in the woods. Well, during this time period, the Sarge is starting to get more and more paranoid and more confrontational. Well, the lights go out. Now the Sarge is thinking, this is it. They're going to attack us. They're like, calm down. We're sure it's just a fuse. Well, someone shows up at the door. All you just see is a silhouette of somebody. The Sarge has a gun on him. He decides to pull the gun out and shoot. Well, it turned out to be the sheriff. So he's like, I had no idea. And then he looks at Greg and is like, this is your fault. None of this was going on before you showed up. So he pulls the gun on Greg. Well, Taylor and the Sarge start fighting. They have a confrontation. Taylor disarms the Sarge. Greg and Sandy are like, going outside. So Taylor goes outside to talk to Greg and Sandy. He's like, look, kids, you really need to take me to where the shack is. Because the only way the cops are going to believe that we're not as crazy as the Sarge if we have proof. Well, they agreed to take him, so they're on their way there. Taylor starts showing him his wound. He's like, look, it almost got me too. So now we know that Taylor knows all about the alien. He's had, confrontation with it. They finally make it to the shack. Taylor goes inside. He sees the dead bodies. Comes back outside. The alien shows up. The alien takes him out. He's wounded. He tells the kids to get the hell out of here. They haul ass. They find a highway. They start trying to flag down vehicles, but been getting none of them to stop. Well, Greg finally gets this vehicle to stop. It turns out to be a police car. They get in the back seat. They start telling the guy, look, there's a shack with dead bodies and a wounded man. We need to go back. Well, the vehicle keeps going forward. They're like, look, stop. We really need to go back. It turns out the guy driving the police car is the Sarge. While no one was looking while they were loading the sheriff into the ambulance, he hops in the sheriff car and takes off. Now, I don't want to go into more details because it would ruin the climax of the film. So now, not only does Greg and Sandy have to deal with the alien, they're going to have to deal with the Sarge as well. Like I said at the beginning of this video, this is one of my favorite horror films from the 1980s. And the film has caught quite a bit of crap over the years. A lot of people accuse this movie of ripping off Predators. And that's not the case at all. This movie came out 6 years before Predator. So if anything, Predator's more of an unacknowledged remake of this flick. And not only that, Kevin Hall, who played Predator in the original flick, played the alien in this movie. I think you can find it on YouTube, but I'm not sure. But if you get a chance, check this flick out. I think you enjoy it. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a good day. Later.